There is something nobody tells you about Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro. Something that gets lost behind the goals, behind the trophies, behind the image of a man who seems untouchable. His mother, the woman who gave him life, almost chose not to. She was poor. She was exhausted. She already had 3 children and not enough food to feed them. She went to a doctor. She was ready to end the pregnancy. She changed her mind at the last moment. And on the 5th of February 1985, the greatest footballer who ever lived took his first breath. But nobody in that tiny house, on that tiny island, could have known that, because all they saw was another mouth to feed, another child in a family that had nothing. This is the story they never fully tell you, the real story of Cristiano Ronaldo. Welcome to Football Untold. We don't talk about the highlights here. Anyone can show you the goals. We talk about the moments before the goals, the nights nobody saw, the tears nobody filmed, the pain that built the person. This is part 1 of the full Cristiano Ronaldo story. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you will never see him the same way again. The house Cristiano grew up in was barely a house. 1 room, a corrugated iron roof, walls so thin you could hear the rain on every side. The whole family, his parents, his 2 sisters, his brother, living on top of each other with nowhere to breathe. His father, José Diniz Aveiro, was a kind man, a gentle man. He worked as a gardener. He worked part-time as a kit man for the local football club. He loved his children deeply. But José had a problem that would follow the family for years. He drank, not occasionally, chronically, the kind of drinking that hollows a man out from the inside. His mother Maria would work double shifts, cooking, cleaning, doing whatever she could to keep the family together, while his father struggled with something he couldn't control. Cristiano watched all of this as a child. He watched his mother come home exhausted. He watched his father disappear into himself. He felt the weight of a family that was barely holding together. And then he would go outside, find a ball, and forget everything. Because on the street, with a ball at his feet, none of that existed. He was free. Every child in Santo Antonio knew Cristiano Ronaldo, not because he was famous, because he was always there. When school finished, Cristiano was on the street with a ball. When the other boys went home for dinner, Cristiano was still there. When the streetlights came on and parents called their children inside, Cristiano was still there, alone, dribbling, shooting against a wall, doing the same move over and over until he got it right. His childhood friend once said, "We had to physically drag him home sometimes. He simply would not stop." That obsession, that refusal to stop, was not normal for a child. It was something else, something that would either destroy him or make him extraordinary. At 8 years old, he joined Madeira, the local club where his father worked. The coaches had never seen anything like him. Not just his skill, but his hunger. The way he treated every single training session like it was a final. He moved to Nacional. He dominated. By 10 years old, Sporting CP, one of Portugal's 3 greatest clubs, had seen enough. They wanted him. Maria Dolores has told this story publicly, and every time she tells it, you can still hear the pain in her voice. The day Cristiano left for Lisbon, she stood at the door of that tiny house and watched her 12-year-old boy walk away with a small bag. She said she felt like her heart was being pulled out of her chest. She went inside and wept for hours. Cristiano has spoken about arriving at the Sporting Academy dormitory that night. He unpacked his few belongings. He looked around at a room full of strangers. He lay down on a bed that was not his, in a city he did not know. 1,400 kilometers from everything he had ever loved, and he cried. Every single night for weeks, he cried. The other boys mocked his accent. They laughed at the way he spoke. They called him a country boy, a nobody from a nobody island. They told him he didn't belong. There were phone calls to his mother from a payphone in the corridor, crying, begging to come home. She told him every time to stay. This is your chance. Don't waste it. So he stayed, and he did what only Cristiano Ronaldo can do. He turned the pain into fuel. Every insult became a reason to train harder. Every laugh became a reason to stay later. Every moment of loneliness became another hour in the gym. At 15 years old, Cristiano Ronaldo collapsed during training. His heart was racing uncontrollably. Tests were done. Scans were taken. The diagnosis was tachycardia, a condition where the heart suddenly accelerates to dangerous, sometimes fatal speeds during physical activity. The doctor told him clearly, without surgery, he could not continue playing football. Let me ask you to think about what that moment feels like. You are 15 years old. You have already left your home, your mother, your family. You have already been mocked and hurt and pushed to your limit. You have already sacrificed more than most adults ever will. And now a doctor is telling you that your heart, the very thing that drives you, might be the thing that ends you. Cristiano went into surgery. His mother came from Madeira. She sat outside that operating room and prayed. He came through it. And within days of heart surgery, he went back to training. Not slowly, not carefully, with the same obsession, the same hunger, as if there was no time to waste. The sporting staff was speechless. In October 2002, at 17 years old, Cristiano Ronaldo walked out onto a professional football pitch for the first time, sporting CP versus Moreirense. He came on as a substitute. The crowd barely noticed. He was just a teenager, just another academy kid. But in the moments he touched the ball, something stirred. A sharpness, a directness, a fearlessness you rarely see in a 17-year-old. And every week, the whispers around Portuguese football got louder. There is a boy at Sporting, they said. A boy from Madeira. You need to see this boy. The following summer, Sporting arranged a pre-season friendly against Manchester United. And what happened on that day changed football forever. But that is a story for part 2. A boy who almost wasn't born. A boy who cried himself to sleep in a strange city. A boy who had surgery on his heart at 15 and was back training within days. This is Cristiano Ronaldo. Not the brand, not the statue. The real man. Part 2 drops next week. Subscribe and drop a comment. What part of this story hit you the hardest? Football Untold, where legends live.